I have a theory that the United States monetary system will be killed by Bitcoin. And in this video, I'm going to go through just the broad strokes of how that exactly is happening right now. And by the end of this video, I would like to ask you what your thoughts on this thing is, because these are just my little lizard brain thoughts. You know what I mean? I'm brand new to this space, but I have these thoughts and these things swirling up in me, and I just need someone to bounce this off. And so you and I, we're here. Just listen to my theory if you want. You know, this is because it involves Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. If you're new to this channel, my name is Aaron. I'm on a journey to one Bitcoin. I'm a brand new crypto investor. I consider myself a cowboy with a little lizard brain, gorilla arms, and diamond hands, exploring the wild west of cryptocurrency and all that entails, even the macroeconomics of it. Even though I don't understand all the macroeconomics, I just want someone to, talk it out, just you and me. And so if you want to follow along with me on that journey to one Bitcoin, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below, hit the notification bell for any new and timely updated content. And of course, if you feel like a generous person, and if you are a generous person and you want to help me grow my channel, could you please hit the like button on this video? That would be greatly appreciated. So let me try to walk you through my thought process on why I think the United States will crumble and the murderer is Bitcoin, and what the dominoes are stacking up to be looking like that. And the first one was flicked. And so can I just start with the premise? And the premise is that the world's currency is the United States dollar. Okay, I'm not sure if I have to do a lot of convincing for that. It's the most secure. It's the strongest held, most widely regarded, and most widely held. And so here's the international use of the dollar, established as the world's most foremost reserve currency, and it still is. So the reserve currency is basically all these exchange reserves, foreign exchanges. They hold the United States dollar as a form of international trade or investments and just aspects of the global economy. And of all their holdings, 60 to 70% of all these reserves, these big central banks in different countries, they're holding 60 or 70% of their portfolio is in the United States dollar. So obviously it's the strongest one, and it's by far and away, like the euro is about 20 and 30, and then everything else comes way down at the bottom. The United States is the world's currency used. It's the most liquid. Countries can trade with it all over the place, and it's supported and it's backed not by a gold standard. There's no gold backing every dollar. It's just the U.S. Army. It's just the strength of the U.S. government, really. And so what happens if someone doesn't trade with the United States or trade with the dollar? Sanctions get put on it. Okay, so like Iran, North Korea, Syria, Cuba, Venezuela. I'm not sure about Turkey. That's a little newer, but I could see right now Venezuela not doing so good. Cuba, no. Syria not doing so good. North Korea not doing so good. Like, if you don't trade with the dollar, you don't trade with anyone, because everyone takes the dollar bill. This is not a point to prove. This is kind of just a matter of fact. And if you are a bigger brain than me, these are little lizard brain thoughts, and these are just simplistic for other lizard brain cowboys like me to understand. If you don't trade with this dollar, it's difficult. It gets difficult, and so and that's your difficult life right there. Ask Venezuela, ask North Korea, ask like that. Now, what happens when the USA, and I'm back to drawing stick figures, right? It's my favorite. What happens when the USA is trying to trade with all these countries? Let's just say Russia, right? Let's say China. Let's say the Philippines. Okay. Let's say Brazil. Let's say Mexico. Let's say El Salvador. And if you know where I'm going with this, then great. Okay. Now, what happens when our biggest export is the dollar bill, right? That's what everyone wants. That's the most liquid. I mean, it's not, these are goods, it's the dollar bill. And so we are sending that dollar bill over, either in like debt, or we're trading goods and services for it. And the reason why people want the dollar bill is because they're able to trade amongst each other with the dollar bill. They might not take the Brazil currency or the or the Mexican peso, or any of these, the Filipino peso is different from the Mexican peso. So yeah, what happens when all that happens? So that's where the dollar bill is. It circulates, and it's the strongest circulating supply. Now, 2020 hit and the pandemic hit, and what did we do? The United States started printing more dollar bills. Okay, we are the only country that is able to print dollar bills. No other country here, they can't do that. Only we do it. And what happens to the United States? Well, in my estimation, and this could be debated, right? But in my estimation, inflation. All these prices everywhere across the board goes up. The price of corn goes up. The price of lumber went up like 200% or something nonsense, right? The price of eggs went from 80 cents to $1.30. That's like a 30%, almost 40%, probably 40% increase in eggs. The housing market went up. My house last year was $280. Now it's starting to $320,000. Not $280,000. Now it's $320,000. Everything went up in the United States. If you're not watching in the United States, you're looking into the United States. All of our prices are going up. The gas prices were $2. It's now $3. Okay, that's a 50% increase. It's crazy right now. But you know this. If you're watching from another country, you know this. Why do I think you know this? Is because prices are going up in your area too. The United States is not the only one getting inflation. But here's what I think and what I'm hearing and what I'm kind of reading. That the prices if the prices in the United States are going up like this much, the prices in other countries are going up like this much. Why? Because everyone's still trading with the dollar, and the dollar is being printed. And so we need to ship out this dollar more and more, right? This comes into my theory. We have more dollar bills, we have more supply, and there's still demand for it. So the increasing supply will reduce the value of the dollar as it has in the United States, but not just the United States, the whole global economy. This is manipulation. This is what I think manipulation is when these central banks are able to just literally print as much money as you want and airdrop it to whoever we want, but only in the United States, because the United States get these dollars first. The other countries all come second because it's printed here. Now, what happens when, a country has had enough? We don't want to be manipulated anymore. We don't want inflation anymore. We don't want our economy being pegged to the United States dollar in foreign trade, or even like just our internal economy. We don't want anything to do with that anymore. We're tired of being manipulated. We're going to sever ties, and instead we're going to introduce a competitor known as Bitcoin. That's going to be our legal tender. That's the one we're going to stake our economy on, because there's a future there, and it's not manipulatable. You can't just keep on printing Bitcoin. And then what happens when a country does that? Well, the U.S. just said, "Oh, we just lost the country." Now that's a small country, El Salvador. I think Dogecoin has a higher market cap for El Salvador. I'm not sure. That's what I just saw. And so don't flame me if you're from El Salvador. This is just my thoughts. But what happens when a country has had enough? The president said, "My people deserve better. We deserve not to be manipulated by the United States dollar. We're done with that thing." Okay. What happens if they convince other people to do that and say, "Hey, Mexico, get on this Bitcoin thing. It's amazing. The United States can print as many dollars as they want. No problem. We're trading in Bitcoin. You want to trade with us? Sure. Let's do that. Forget the dollar. Let's trade in Bitcoin." Huh. Brazil. You know what? Forget the dollar. Let's trade in Bitcoin. Forget them. So what happens if El Salvador did this? What happens when they convince other people to do this? Mexico, Brazil, Colombia. Then you have Central America starting to, become more like Panama, and Central America starts going to Bitcoin. Over time, not quickly, not overnight, but over time. And then South America, over time, not quickly, but not overnight. And then you've got Central America and South America all trading in Bitcoin, all apart from the dollar. What happens? Well, there's a reduction in demand for the dollar. Well, then what if, say, other countries like the Philippines started trading in Bitcoin? And then big boys like China and Russia or UK or whoever. I mean, it's not going to go there first. It's going to go to the small countries. But what happens when demand for the United States dollar drops, but the supply is massive and it keeps on increasing? Look, here's the thing. When El Salvador stopped, just introduced Bitcoin as a legal tender, what they did, it was a domino effect. Look what this guy says. He says it's the first domino in a string of many disenfranchised nations, and then maybe other countries that are looking to reduce their reliance on the US dollar, coming in and saying, hey, we want to go with Bitcoin. We want to go with a currency for a country that can't be manipulated, that can't be controlled. It's kind of interesting situation because I hear that the IMF, International Monetary Fund, is meeting with the president of El Salvador soon, and there's no way they're going to be happy about that. So on the positive side of things, this could be like a shot heard around the world. I understand that GDP, gross domestic product of El Salvador, is pretty much the same as the market cap of Dogecoin. But at the same time, the fact that this is happening is huge, and several other nations that have been disenfranchised are following suit. They're following suit. What does this mean? It means that when El Salvador declared that Bitcoin would pass with a supermajority, Bitcoin will be a legal tender in El Salvador. It wasn't this thing to make a stir in a Bitcoin conference. No, this was a political move. This was a financial and political move against the United States because they're tired of it. They're tired of being disenfranchised, as that guy said. They're tired of being manipulated, as that guy said. And you know what? They're not the only ones. There's a whole bunch of other countries that are tired of it, that are tired of these high prices, that are tired of the United States manipulation. They're tired of the reliance on the United States dollar. It's just true. It's true. So what happens then? Well, I think I could guess. All these dollars will start flowing back into the United States. All these dollars. No one's gonna want it. Where's it gonna go? It's gonna go right back to the United States. And I'm not even talking years. I might be talking like a century, 100 years. But when that happens, you ever see those like pictures where the guy is like rolling a wheelbarrow down the road with like a pile full of cash trying to buy a piece of bread? It's crazy hyperinflation, where the demand is so low, like internationally, because Bitcoin is taking over. I mean, this is why that the very next day after that declaration of the El Salvadorian president, Trump comes out and he starts bashing Bitcoin, because I think he knew what was up. He said, I don't like it. It's on Bitcoin. It just seems like a scam. I don't like it because it's another currency competing with the US dollar. I want the dollar to be the currency of the world. That's what I've always said. It's not, look, this might be political agenda, right? He might be saying like, hey, if you're for Bitcoin, you're against America. And it's not true. Like, it's definitely not true. Like, I love America. My dad was 22 years in the Navy. I love America. I love the United States. I'm sorry if that offends anyone, but you should love your country if you're born and bred there. But I think he literally sees that, oh, we lost El Salvador, or losing El Salvador, and that shouldn't make any United States financial institution happy, right? Because that's what the El Salvadorian guy said. He said, look, these guys can't be happy. They're going to meet with the president, and they cannot be happy about this. Why? Because they're losing a trading partner. They're losing a customer for the United States dollar. We're forcing inflation on these other countries, and they're tired of it. because of our printing. And so yeah, they want to kick it back to us, and they're gonna do it away with us. Anyway, these are my thoughts. I want to know what your thoughts are onto this whole situation. Of course, I'm thinking short term. I'm thinking long term. What is our call to action? We're on a journey to 1 Bitcoin, guys. We need that Bitcoin. We need to get our Bitcoin, because there's only so many of it, and this future's down this road. I don't know. I'm sure it's way more complicated than what I made it out to be. If you want to know more of my thoughts, check out the dollar milkshake theory of macroeconomics by, I think his name is Brent Johnson. I'll link the description down there. This is kind of where I'm thinking, like, how he's a bigger brain, right? I have a little lizard brain, but all I know is this: I'm on a journey to 1 Bitcoin, and you could get there too along with me. Hit the subscribe button down below if you want to follow along with me on that journey. Hit the notification bells and give me a like button if you want to just resound with thoughts. Comment down in the section below, please. I want to hear your thoughts on this one. And I'm in the comments, man. I'm in the comments, and I'm going to delete those scammers and bots and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, we're on this journey to 1 Bitcoin. Guys, cowboys ride together. Lizard brain, gorilla arms, diamond hands. We'll see everyone on the moon.